I'm sorry, but if you're a conservative woman, you should not be giving your opinion. You should not be voting. You should not be participating politically because you're against feminism. And that's exactly the movement that gave you the right to do all those things. So go ahead and cut off that phone. Go ahead and cut off those credit cards. Go ahead and close that bank account and leave it to your husband. Thank you.
Conservative women here. First of all, conservative women are not against women having rights. I, for one, am very glad I can vote. I'm glad I have the right to work if I want. I'm glad I can own a phone and speak freely on it. None of that is controversial. What I don't support is modern day feminism. The version that says women are perpetual victims, men are the enemy, and if you don't agree, you should lose all your rights. Here's the part no one wants to answer. Men and women already have equal rights in this country. You cannot name a single right a man has that a woman doesn't. Actually, you know what? I just thought of one. Women don't have to register for the draft. But interestingly, I don't see mass protests in the street demanding equal participation there. So if we're already equal under the law, what exactly are you guys fighting for? I am conservative, and I also believe that women should vote. Women should work if they want. Women should practice whatever religion they choose. Or none at all. Women don't have to get married or have kids if they don't want to. And here's the irony. If you're the one saying women should lose their rights because of their political beliefs, congratulations! You are the most anti-feminist person in this conversation. Maybe the issue isn't conservative women. Maybe it's that some people only support women's rights when women agree with them.
Russian women don't need feminism, they don't like it, and feminist movement will never spread in Russia. And let me explain you why. So the basics of feminism is women going against men. But in Russia, we already have a shortage of men. Believe me or not, my generation is still recovering after World War II, when all the men left and all the women were left behind with the hard work, working at the factories, raising kids, standing in line for hours for basic essentials like food, while women in America were basically locked up at the house as housewives. So now imagine that all the kids, especially boys, that was raised by single mothers, what kind of examples they had in front of them? That the mother have to work, after that come home and take care of kids, husbands. That's why in Russia we have such a problem with the aggressive and demanding men that want women not only go to work, but come home after work and take care of kids and man itself. And now you have the main idea of feminism that women have to work even more. But Russian women want nothing more than a caring husband, providing for the family, helping with chores and raising their kids, which is rarity for Russia. Plus, we still have a shortage of men. For every man, there are 3 to 5 women. And because of our political situation right now, we are still losing men. So that's why instead of women against men movement, we have women coming together to support and save the men that we have. Today, mothers of the soldiers, sisters, wives of the soldiers are main women, and they are protected by the government. In 2018, some activists and bloggers, more of my generation, started pushing this movement into mass. But as you can guess, they got shut down pretty quickly by the government. And now, not even women need it in our country.
Trust me when I say that toxic feminism was the downfall for everybody. Nobody wants relationships anymore. And it's true. If you build yourself up to be a high quality man, all the women will want you. What makes a man a high quality man? A man that lives his true essence, that can be straight up to a woman. Women don't get mad, or at least some women do not get mad that you have a lot of women. They get mad that you do not tell the truth. They get mad when you do not tell the truth. But a high quality man will tell that woman straight up from the beginning. A low quality man will act like he's perfect, will act like he's like the greatest man on earth. Fake confidence. Do you see the difference? There is real confidence and fake confidence.
Now see, when accountability hits him, all of a sudden it's, oh, well, that was just a cute video. I was just trying to, it was a cute sound. You shouldn't. Pick another sound. You're too old to be playing these games. Pick another sound.
Okay, I have a question. why is it that when I'm going after my goals and they're getting reached and opportunities are starting to become a lot more common, I thought I was supposed to be impressionable to men who are also damn near close or within this same bracket that I'm almost at. And is it not impressive? Like, do you feel like it's not ladylike for me to be going as hard as you or better? But I'm not your competition. I'm really not being approached as much, if you want me to be quite honest. I was approached more when I was a little bit more broke. And I'm not understanding why. I thought just like how women get impressed by men who are up here, they get impressed by women who are up here. But I need some explanation. Y'all help me out, because what's going on?
Sex work is empowering for women. Feminism believes that if women are unhappy, it's society's fault. In this case, if women are unhappy participating in sex work, whether that's through or making explicit content, the problem isn't the act itself. The problem is that society unfairly looks down on it. To correct this, there have been many campaigns to argue that sex work is real work, and women should be applauded for making content on OF because they are owning their sexuality. Just like the rest of the feminist lies that we've been told, the intention is to help women, but does it really? The adult industry has never actually served to empower women. It's only ever really existed to exploit women. There are endless stories of young women getting lured into creating this type of content with false promises of fame and money, only to be locked into predatory cycles where consent is extremely blurred, filming conditions are absolutely horrid, and worst of all, their bodies get turned into a commodity that they no longer own. While women are more in control on platforms like OF, they really join a platform like that convinced by these stories of the top 1% where women are making millions of dollars, only to find themselves crossing their own personal boundaries to make pennies. All for what? The industry codifies women. It has turned their bodies into products, and it trains men to see intimacy as something that can be purchased. And engaging in this kind of transaction, both for men and for women, robs them of any self-respect, because once something sacred can be bought, it stops being sacred, and no amount of cultural acceptance can actually change that. Loud declarations that sex work is empowering might drown out your inner voice that hates being something that can be purchased, but it won't ever fix that instinctive shame that comes from knowing that your self-worth has been reduced to a price. In order for a person to respect themselves, some things have to be above money, like our integrity, like our convictions, but above all, our body. And that's why a person for sale, no matter how much money they make, eventually feels worthless.
Feminism sold us the biggest scam of our generation. They told us we were empowered. But what did we actually get? Burnout, debt, stress, a double life where we work like men and still carry the entire home on our backs. And here's the truth nobody's talking about. Feminism didn't set women free. It trapped us in a masculine system that we were never designed for. They told us to compete with men, to lead like men, to talk, think, act like men, and now we're exhausted, we're disconnected, resentful, and wondering why nothing feels right. We don't need more feminism. We need to reclaim the femininity that was stolen from us, because that's where a woman's real power has always been. In softness, in harmony, emotional intelligence, intuition, influence, not in becoming a copy of the men we were created to complement. If you want to break free from this conditioning and learn how to step back into your feminine design, the design that brings peace, love, protection, and real freedom, that's exactly what I teach inside the Feminine Reset. Click the link in my bio for access.
Well, it wasn't stolen. A lot of these ladies gave it up. And a lot of these women are giving it up willingly. Willingly. Like nobody's forcing them to do the stuff that they do. Nobody's forcing them to participate in a lot of the stuff that they participate in. They're doing it willingly because society says, oh man, this is great. Society is doing a great job with the agenda of marketing. And these modern women are eating it up. They're eating it up. And they keep on doing it. They keep on doing it. And they keep on going further and further down the rabbit hole of demise. Further and further down the rabbit hole of misery, anger, just not satisfied with the state of things and why things are happening to them this way. is because y'all keep on giving up the stuff that gives you protections. Y'all keep on doing stuff that you're not supposed to be doing. Cut that out.
Y'all, the days of feminism being about equality are over. Okay, it's spiritual warfare disguised as empowerment. Let's talk about it. And guess what happened? When you remove God's order, chaos enters the home. We were promised freedom, but instead got rebellion. And the Jezebel spirit is alive and amongst us today. It has taught women to lie, manipulate, seduce men, use your power and control. Instead, it has taught women to emasculate men, to weaponize men's emotions against them, play the victim, and then turn around and call it power. And trust me when I say I'm all about making money. I'm very independent, but also traditional. And feminism has taught us that being a homemaker is oppressive, but yet being a slave, being a boss babe to a corporation is somehow freedom. Like, make it make sense. It's turned marriage into more of a burden instead of a blessing. And it's really actually crapped on the idea of what biblical masculinity is intended to be and what it should be. Feminism told us we would have careers, have freedom, independence, sex. Meanwhile, we would lose the most important things: family, peace, order, and purpose. And never forget, Jesus is King. Have a great day.
Listen to this.
Men are like, we want a traditional woman. We want a woman at home, taking care of me, taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning, doing all this. And women are like, have done the feminism, they've done the 9 to 5, they're all broke, they're unhappy, they're like, why are we working so hard? This sucks. And then they're like, okay, we accept your terms. And then men are like, okay. And then we're like, okay, so that's going to take a lot of money to have this life. So are you going to be a provider full time? Are you going to give me and the children the lives that we want? And then as soon as women turn it on men and accept, men are like, oh my gosh, you're just all gold diggers. And then it's like, so what do you want from us? There's no winning. Yeah, we do want to be at home with the kids. And yeah, if we do that, you have to provide, sweetheart.
Okay, number one. A lot of women are not done with feminism, even though you say they've done the feminism. If they were done with it, they wouldn't be still screaming that they're going to choose a bear over a man, or that they don't need men. Number two, many women are still choosing career over family. Number three, you mentioned the guy should provide for the life that you and the kids want. Does he not have a say in the lifestyle that he's paying for? Number four, a lot of women are saying that they don't want kids. So what are you talking about? And number five, men are only saying that women are sounding like gold diggers because women keep talking about their income and that they need to be 6-figure men. And it's not even just the low 6 figures anymore. Now it's these astronomically high numbers like, oh, they need to make 300,000 plus. That's what sounds like a gold digger.
Let's not do that, because this is the page that calls out a lot of hypocrisy when it comes to certain demographics of people, especially people who have the identity politics by the chokehold, okay? Black women are just as problematic, and y'all subscribe to the same bullshit as feminism. Let's not forget, less than 2 weeks ago, I was being attacked by black women because I called out this troll, the same troll who wanted to talk shit about a child. The same troll who said that, oh, majority of the men are ugly and that their grandmothers times 10 or their ancestors times 10 was given DEI cooch. Don't let me sit there and do a mashup of how problematic black women have been for like the last year and a half. Okay? Let's not be a hypocrite to be like, oh, white feminism, because y'all subscribe to that same bullshit. I have mutuals that sit there and does reaction videos to some of the fuck shit that y'all be saying that don't even fucking make sense. Okay? So let's not be a hypocrite because y'all subscribe to the same bullshit as feminist rhetoric. I just can't wait for Valentine's Day to watch y'all crash the fuck out. Because y'all sit there and throw so much shade and hate towards women who are in relationships, who are married. Y'all the ones who sit there and call married women pygmies. Women who show men respect, pygmies. The number of black women who are in my comment section when I sit there and say, hey, men should be treated like human beings with dignity and respect. Did you get picked yet? So let's not be a hypocrite, because all I do is call out hypocrites. This particular situation ain't got shit to do with race, because this is problematic across all races. Women are becoming extremely toxic and extremely problematic. And let's not we forget in the real world that let it be a group of black women in a room and one woman walks into the room, a good half of y'all be given the sour stank bitch fuck you look. Because I experienced that shit yesterday. So let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that.
There are exactly 3 scenarios in which I shamelessly reject feminism. At number 1, we have absolutely anything to do with the car. If I so much as hear a sound from my car that I have never heard before, I am turning into an Elizabethan goddess. Papa, there's a motor and there's an engine running and there's wires. Could you help me out? And at number 2, we have buying, exchanging, transferring, or anything to do with finagling credit card points. I have no fucking clue or time how to finagle, chase, and be like, I got you because I bought 600 points and I subtracted 2, then I bought 6 and I bartered 5 of them and now I just got a discount on my Cabo flights. Then please mansplain it to me. I don't give a shit. And at number 3, we have building or fixing any piece of furniture whatsoever. I would much rather sleep on 3 pieces of wood than put the pieces of wood together to build myself a bed. Absolutely not.
And there we are, basically selective in what you want to participate in, which is what a lot of men are complaining about. You're selective in what you want to do. Oh, I want the good parts of stuff. I want the parts where I don't have to try too hard. Yeah, I'll work a little bit. I'll grind a little bit because I don't want people to say that I didn't do anything. But the stuff, like the real dirty work, the stuff that requires like actual thinking over and over again, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do that. Just do it for me. It's too much of a hassle. I want to do other things. Guess who could have done that for you? Your man. He could have done that for you. But feminists out here are sitting up here talking about, oh, we don't need a man for anything. I'm capable. I can do this. Oh, I'm capable. I can do it. I just don't want to. Okay, then. All right, then. So who's going to do it? Oh, right, a man. You're going to go right back over there to a man and ask a man to do it. Well, that just makes the man my servant. No, it doesn't. It just makes you lazy. It just makes you incompetent. It just makes you what men have been saying you are. Somebody with a loser's mindset. The ability to go away from problems. You can't problem solve. You can't think critically. You can't think under pressure. You can't think when you're tired. And guess who gets better? Men do. Because y'all don't understand when y'all do this type of stuff. Y'all are continuing to put men under pressure. Y'all are continuing to put men in difficult situations. And pretty soon a man is going to say, let me make this situation easier for me. And he finds efficiencies and he puts those efficiencies in place. And then because he gets so efficient at it, he starts to charge you more and more money. And now you're mad at him because he raised his prices, but he's taken out of his time. Basically, now you're paying for his expertise when you could have done it yourself. But y'all think y'all are getting, when it comes to this, I don't want to do it. When it comes to that, I don't want to do it. The man says, all right, I'll take it. Statistically speaking, I'll do the hard jobs, the dirty jobs, the jobs that most people don't want to do. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm not going to like doing it, but I'll do it because there's money in it. I'll do it. There was this one video where a man walked into Walmart. He was like, hey, for about what was it, $20 or $100? He said, if you scream right here, just scream. That's it. No strings attached. Scream. I give you this money. 2 or 3 women were like, no, I ain't gonna do that. Da, da, da. Walked up to a dude. Same guidelines. Dude. And scream right there in the store. Easiest $20, $100 he ever made in his life. And walked off. 5 seconds of his time. Just scream. Modern women won't do that type of stuff. They might, oh, it's dirty, it's nasty, it's not, it's unbecoming of me. Right. Okay. So since it's unbecoming of you, I'm gonna go out there and get this money. And that's why y'all continue to be behind, because y'all are not going to do the things that men are willing to do. Y'all are not going to make the sacrifices that men are willing to make. And now you're going to be on TikTok asking for a man's help.
Extreme feminism does women a grave disservice, okay? Whenever you tell women that they don't have to have any accountability for any choices that they make, you put them in harm's way. You can actually put them in actual physical danger. And I'm going to give you an example, okay? If a man tells a woman, baby girl, you might not want to go over there. That's where the grapists and the unalivers hang out. Don't go over there. And if for some reason you do have to go over there, just try not to draw any attention to yourself. Don't wear that because, you know, they're going to be looking at you and they're going to probably come up to you and everything. So just be careful. You know what that man is told? Stop policing my body. You don't tell me where to go. And he's attacked. Or they'll say something like, don't tell women where to go. Tell people not to bother them. Yeah, people shouldn't bother them. But hey, there are criminals out there. There are predators out there. Like, I am so thankful that I don't have a daughter in this day and age, because it would be so much harder to protect them, because I could be telling them, hey, don't go here, don't go there, be careful here, be careful there. Y'all will be telling them, nah, girl, you should be able to go where you want to go. Yeah, ideally, you should be able to go wherever you want to go. But unfortunately, you can't. You can go, but some shit might go down that we don't want to happen to you. Like, y'all call advice, safety advice, y'all call it victim blaming. No, we're trying to prevent you. This should be called prevention. This should be called safety prevention. But like I said, extreme feminists, they have this unrealistic idea of the world, and they put women in danger to prove a point. And that is selfish, and that is not in the best interest of women at all. And I have a beef with feminism in regards to a few things. But that is the main thing. Extreme feminism does put women in danger by trying to prove a point that cannot be proven. So you're just going to keep sacrificing the safety of women for nothing.
Imagine being so confused about who you're supposed to be that you start saying stuff like, I don't need a man, decenter men, and you're just rooting for feminism. The thing about those women is they do all of these things to try to force themselves to be who they're not. And that in turn makes them a little delusional, because now all of a sudden they're saying things that don't make sense. You don't need a man, but you have a child. You don't need a man, but you're able to go out and go to work. You don't need a man, but you have a car, you have a home, you know what I'm saying? You have clothes, you have anything that you actually could possibly need. And then in the same breath, you're saying you don't need a man, when you don't even understand that men are the one who created a lot of things, a lot of avenues, a lot of the luxuries that women have in this world today. That just makes it so crazy. And what's even more crazy is a lot of these women are so-called God-fearing women, and God's order is, God, Christ, man, then the woman. So you can't even get to God without getting through a man first. Women want to be treated the same way men are treated, but they don't understand the difference. The value in a woman and the value in a man. Men bring something different to the table that a woman cannot bring, and vice versa. So it's not that you don't need a man. You actually absolutely have to have one in order to be who you're actually supposed to be. Because you can't take on all these masculine traits and have feminine traits, because they don't even coincide in the same person, honestly. We used to exude wisdom, grace, and peace while we're competing for dominance. And no man wants to compete with a woman to be the man that God created him to be while you're trying to be the man and the woman. We were created to be like a balance. And the moment that we lost that was the very moment that we lost the essence that made us necessary. So yeah, equality sounded empowering, but it really stripped the women of the divine power that they actually withhold, and that's femininity.
It began to strike me that feminism actually brought out the worst in women. And that was the thing that began to niggle at me after many years in which I called myself a feminist and I taught at various universities. And it began to strike me that even though all of the measurable goals of the feminist movement had clearly been attained, feminists didn't seem to be any happier about the state of the world. And in fact, it seemed to me that they were as angry or even angrier than they had ever been, very keen on lecturing men on toxic masculinity and everything else, very keen on telling men what they owed to women, which seemed to be everything. And many men were quite willing to try to give to women what they were demanding, but not at all keen in talking about what women owed to men, and certainly not interested in talking about what men had given to women over the centuries, why gender roles had developed as they did in times when the survival of the human race was much more challenging than it is today. And, not at all interested in talking about gratitude or in praising men for the changes in society and in the social order that men had been willing to give to women. So that lack of gratitude, that anger, that accusatory tone, all of those began to really turn me off. And I also finally, I think the sort of assertion of female moral superiority really got to me as well. It was as if no matter what the situation, it was impossible for feminists to admit that women ever did wrong. And also, of course, as I just said, impossible for them to admit that men ever did right. And it began to strike me that feminism actually brought out the worst in women.
It brought out women's true nature. The fact that we have been bred as men to think that women were the more gentle, the more demure, the more kinder of the two genders is bullshit, is absolute BS. You know why men gave so much to women? It's because we love women. Who's the first woman that enters our life? Who's the first one that we see? Our mother, our mothers. That is the woman who nurtured us, who fed us our first meal. So, of course, when a woman is in pain, if a woman wants something, we're naturally prone to give it to her. Women don't get that. Feminism have told you guys that we have suppressed women, but it's been a lie. We led women.
We have surpassed that already. You guys can read, you guys can vote, you can do everything you want to do, and you keep making issues. This is why you always talking about the patriarchy and capitalism. You feed it. Okay? Why do you think that you are a feminist in the first place? They wanted you to work. That's what they wanted you to do. They wanted two people in the household to work versus one, right? But you hate capitalism, but you serve it. You would rather serve capitalism than serve your man, the man that was put here to protect you.
Yeah, but does your man make enough money so that you don't have to work? This is my thing. If we're talking about family units, these are two people. They get to decide what happens in their unit. And reality is some men are not going to be able to provide all that they can. Talk about pressure. I feel like feminism was good for men because it kind of relieved them of a little bit of pressure.
It lifted everybody up.
Well,
Yeah,
it
but
really
it's
did.
made men so much more depressed than ever. It's made them weaker.
I think they just don't like the fact that now they see, oh, women can be as good as us because now that we're allowed to have all these rights, we're graduating from college more than they are now.
Why do you have to be?
Because we live in their world. And I'm saying because we live in this world with them where they are suppressing us, their bar is up here. If our bar gets lifted, so does theirs. Our bar gets lifted, so does theirs.
Why do women need to be less than men?
Yeah.
Women are not less than men. They're different from men. We provide equal value, but we're different. You can't, it's no way that if you got a man that's your age, your height, whatever, he's going and you race him. You're not going to beat him. More times than not, they're going to dust you, which lets you know that you are not equal to them.
In what sport?
Not in that way.
Hey there, Buttercup. I just want to clarify something. So it's a sound on TikTok. That wasn't my voice. And I just thought it was funny because I was dressed cute and I was like, oh, I'm going to make a TikTok. I'm not arrogant. In fact, I'm probably a medium ugly woman, you know, like whatever. I wasn't waiting on a man to text me today. No, not at all. But thank you. Thank you for boosting my self-esteem by calling me arrogant, because I'm really not. I'm actually really so down to earth and so fun and so funny. But happy Thanksgiving from me and my cat, because I'm a cat lady, because I'm arrogant and I don't like men.
I had a message recently from a male follower who said, I'm assuming you're a high achiever. And I came back with, I don't know if that's meant to be a compliment or whether or not you're saying that I'm hard work. I take it as a compliment, and I'm not sure what you mean. And he came back and said 100% a compliment. Absolutely. And then obviously, you know, Siri was listening. My very next scroll up on Instagram was high achieving women and why they find it difficult to date. And I thought it was interesting because if you are a high achiever, and I would probably say yes, in a lot of aspects, I am a high achiever. I run a successful company. I'm resilient. You know, I'm capable. I like to achieve goals. So therefore, yeah, high achiever usually works. But then in the same token, I'm messy. You know, I'm a bit lazy. I like to lie in bed all day watching reality TV. I mean, I'm high achieving at downtime too. So maybe I am an all-rounder. It did say that men are intrigued by the fact that you're so capable and they give up a little bit and they just let you take over. And we need to learn to soften, not shrink, but soften. So it all circles back. If you're a high achieving woman, are you finding it tricky to meet a man who you can respond to equally and they can still lead you? So yeah, please comment.
I made this post on Threads and I just asked this simple question. I just said, why does dating get more difficult for a successful woman? And I got a lot of different opinions from men and women, but I will say one opinion that was very popular and was repeated on multiple stances by multiple men was they say that women who are successful are boring and have no personality.
Dude, I fucking wish. The decenter men creators are just fucking incels, okay? I really thought that it was really about, like, women empowerment. You know what I mean? Like, let's all, like, hustle. Let's get a bag. Let's work together. Let's actually heal and grow. And then eventually, the men should do the same thing on their side. And then we come together, and then it's kumbaya. Because the solution, I fear that they don't understand, isn't to be an incel or a lesbian, right? Because sexuality isn't a choice, I thought, is what they said. But I really don't. There's a couple creators that I do follow. Bohemian Diva, I really like her. She's very, like, unbiased. She points out the hypocrisy of basically everything. But she isn't pushing some weird fucking agenda. Like, everything liberal in, like, reality, I would say, let's say 80% of all these liberal ideologies, I don't think are pro-women at all. They're just pro-party. Like, even some things, like, that I have, like, I not believed in, but, like, participated in my life, right? Like, Schmeck's work, right? They like to even say that that's women empowerment. And I'm like, that's not what that is. It's just hustling and getting a bag. It's just the way that they fucking twist everything for their ideologies, because they have to create, like, lies and delusions in their minds to make everything seem like it's okay. And that's literally what schizophrenic people do, by the way. They create a scenario in their head of why doing something or thinking a certain way is okay. And that's what liberals do. Once I realized that all these decenter men creators are always dating, they're never actually focusing on themselves. They always have to talk about men. So yes, you can make content on social media about it, but then if your life is also fully revolving around men, when are you decentering? Anyway, so the decenter men, garbage. It's just a bunch of incels now. And these girls are following incels. Like, that's what's really fucking sad, is these people have big followings. Like that one loser that pretends she's a doctor and nobody's ever seen her fucking face. Like, that's probably a man, right? One thing I've always talked about on here, whether it's about men or women, is that everyone isn't meant to be a leader. It does not matter what your gender is. And that really does apply to women as well. Like, most of these women are not meant to be leaders, especially in these kind of movements, because they do not practice what they preach. So most of these women are being led by incel women. They are being led by women who fucking hate themselves. They are being led by women who don't give two fucks about their own health. They are being led by women who have no talent, who aren't good at anything except for just complaining about men. It's just the blind leading the fucking blind, right? The women that I think every woman should follow is some sort of creator, some sort of actual leader, not just some weirdo content creator that have like created their own small business, created some sort of brand, done something cool for society. Like, I think that's women should be following and looking up to, not politicians that are just placed there and I'm supposed to vote for them because they have a coochie. I digress. But if anybody else knows, please leave some in the comments, because I think a lot of us would like to find women who aren't fucking losers on this app to follow. That'd be great.
Well, I guess it's possible to find somebody like that, but it's going to be hard. These type of women need to be held accountable, and because of their followers, they aren't held accountable. Even without their followers, they wouldn't be held accountable. They live in a world of delusion. They live in a world where consequences, reality, none of that matters. They operate outside of societal norms, and they try to get you to do the same thing as well. And when I say societal norms, I mean what makes sense, the logic of things. Well, if you do X, then Y is going to appear. No. I don't want that. I want X to be input and then Z to appear. I want to talk about men and trash them. And then when I do that, Z appears, which means he gives me all his money and he's so loving to me, even though I've treated him like trash. But instead, what keeps on happening is men treat me like trash. Men don't respect me. Men stay away from me. I can't find a good man. How can we change it from Y to Z? That's the type of, and when you try to say, hey, it's your thinking. It's your thinking. Stop thinking about men like that. Stop talking to men like that. No, that can't be it. That's what capitalism wants you to think. That's what the patriarchy wants you to think. Stupid stuff like that. So with these types of women, you have an uphill battle.
Let me tell you why men aren't approaching you. And let me reword that. Let me tell you why boys aren't approaching you. The reason why you aren't getting approached is because you come off as a strong woman. Now, this may seem like, what is she talking about? Listen, bear with me. When a man or a boy, let's keep it okay. When a man or a boy sees a strong woman, most men, honestly, they take a step back and they like to watch that woman before they approach her. Boys get very, 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 very intimidated by a woman who knows her worth. Why? Because he knows that he cannot finesse her. That boy knows that, she's not gonna really give me any, so it's really no point of me trying. I'd rather try with somebody who's a little bit more loose. So when you hold yourself to a certain standard, that boy knows that he's not going to be able to reach those standards. So therefore, he's not even going to approach you. You are not the problem. You're not the problem. They're the problem. So guess what? You continue to be the strong woman that you are. And let me tell you, you wait until a man approaches you. Because a true man sees a strong woman and he sees her as an asset to his life. A true man sees a strong woman and he says, wow, this woman is interesting. And he says, wow, there's something about this woman that's different. Let me approach her in a way that most men wouldn't approach her. And this is why my other video talked about discernment. You have to know, is this male a boy or is it a man? All them catcalling, hey yo, whatever. That's boyish. That's childish. You don't need that in your life when you are a strong woman. Watch how If you are a woman and you are single and you are literally wondering why don't you get approached, the moment you do get approached, don't get all happy and all antsy. Oh, finally somebody approached me. Oh, he wants to take me out on a date. He wants to spoil me. He wants to do all of this and all that cute stuff. You have to literally take a step back. Okay, you barely get approached. How is he approaching you? Okay, taking you out to eat is good and all, but what is his intention? Does he want to get to know you? Is his intentions up front? Or is he kind of like, you just don't know? Boys are truly intimidated by a woman who is strong and independent. And this is going to be for another video, but I don't think that woman is supposed to be full-fledged independent. We are supposed to have men that, whatever, but I'll get into that in another topic. But you are not being approached because you are a strong woman. And most boys are intimidated by that strong woman who knows her worth. Men aren't intimidated by that because they know that a woman like that would help him and would help him in his future.
Well, whether you call him a boy or a man doesn't really matter. He's still going to be looking for some core qualities in a woman, and that's going to be feminism or femininity, some sort of softness, some sort of differentiation from him. You can go out there and work, have your own thing going on, smart, powerful, strong, successful. All of that stuff is fantastic. I'm telling you, man, do your thing. Go get the bag. But a lot of modern women are disrespectful. A lot of these girl boss babes, they're not only disrespectful to men, they're disrespectful and condescending to people in general. And I know you might say, oh, well, people perceive me as disrespectful. I understand what you're saying. A lot of people would perceive bluntness as rude and disrespect. Sure. But y'all are disrespectful. Y'all start insulting people. Y'all say that people aren't worth anything because they're not you. They don't do it how you do it. They're not where you are. That's different from saying, hey, I need to give you some constructive feedback. I need to give you some constructive criticism. The way you're going right now, the way you operate, you're not going to make it. You need to turn your life around. You need to start thinking like this. Successful people think like this. You're thinking like, oh, I can't do it. And that's like bottom of the barrel thinking. You need to start positioning your brain, your mind like this. Change the way you think. That's helping them. Versus, oh, you're stupid. You're an idiot. Oh, you ain't like me. You just a broken. You a buster. And you this, and this. Now you sound like a loser. Now you sound like an idiot. Now you're insulting people. And people don't want to be around your silly attitude.
The women that started the feminist movement, a lot of these women that ran it were traumatized women. They also wanted to eradicate the black babies. I mean, the entire foundation of feminism is evil. And then on top of it, if you're a Christian woman, all of these waves of feminism, most of these waves of feminism aren't even in alignment with Christian values. Let's talk about the sexual revolution. No, women are the carriers of life. They're the ones that are going to give birth. So telling a woman that she should explore her sexuality is literally destroying relationships and a woman's ability to connect with a man. A woman, if she's having more than one partner at a time and she gets pregnant, she's not going to know whose baby that is. Now, of course, with technology and stuff, she can find out. But men's lives are being ruined by this. Where before, a man usually married a virgin, a woman who waited until marriage to have sex, and that literally concluded that this baby is going to be his child. Also, we can talk about how women are far more depressed today, and men are themselves today. It's risen. Rates have risen over the last decade. Why do you think that? That's because we're not women are being told that they're equal to men, and then they're going out and working and trying to compete with the men and not being cared for, not being taken care of. I believe that it's supposed to be very pre-sin in the garden, where Eve is almost like Adam's child. You know what I'm saying? Like, he played like a father role to her, telling her the protocol, telling her how to tend to the garden. And nowadays, we don't know how to be in a relationship and a connection with a man, because feminism is telling you that you're equal to a man, and you're not, right? When you are the weaker vessel, that means you need a father to teach you, right? To protect you, to cover you. And I'm sorry, but you are a weaker vessel, because if you were to get pregnant right now, the first trimester, you're probably going to be throwing up and sick. You're probably gonna be so nauseated, can't even go nowhere, right?
And I know they try to make medicines for this, and try to, kind of help stop this. But I think you're right. There's a lot of challenges that women face that are not faced by men, and vice versa, right? So instead of trying to think that you're the same as a man, why don't you try to, just try to do whatever you can do? Let the man do what the man does. And that also includes not telling a man how to be a man. Yeah, there are certain things that you can identify as like, man, I've never seen a man do this. But on the whole, modern women, they try to tell men exactly how men need to be, and it's causing problems for them.
You're going to be working like a dog, trying to pay your rent and bills, while also throwing up into the toilet. You should be taken care of. Then on top of that, then if you fall in the third trimester, the baby, you could crush the baby could die. And they want you on your feet working like a man? No, you're the carrier of life. You bring life into the world. That's so precious and so valuable. And men knew this. That's why they died for women. They died and put their life on the line for women. And, like, for example, war. We're out in war with a tampon up and cramps, popping pills to fight the battle. Like, it's just like kind of like ridiculous. And men have this understanding that they put their life on the line to protect women because of the fact that we have periods, the fact that our hormones change, the fact that we carry children. This isn't a no-brainer for men. They have no fight in them to try to argue that. But because we're fighting so badly to be equal to them, they're like, okay, well, if that's what you guys want too, then we'll let that happen. Then you guys want sexual freedom to have sex with anybody, and then okay, so then when they use and abuse your body and have sex with you, and then go to the next girl that will allow the same thing, and then you cry about it on TikTok, that doesn't make sense to them either. You wanted the freedom to explore your sexuality, and now you're crying about it. Like, do you want to be protected and valued by a man, or do you want to be used and abused by one? Do you want to be taken care of and he be a provider, or do you want to be the provider and independent for man? Like, pick what you want. And the fact that women want to be equal to men, but then they're depressed because they can't have a relationship with one, because they've developed, one, too much trauma, but two, too many masculine traits. They act like a man, they sometimes look like a man, they want to lead like a man. Then a man's not going to choose you and pick you to marry because you're not a complementary helper. Now, in order to be a complementary helper, one, you have to learn about men. Two, you have to distinguish, we're not the same. We're not equal. I'm valuable, but how am I valuable? And then three, what do men like? Sorry, pick me behavior, but what does a man want from me? What does a man need from me so that I could have a relationship with one? That's pick me behavior, because you want to be picked. So you're going to change stuff about you, which feminism does not teach that ideology. I'm sorry, they do not teach that ideology. They tell you to go get an education. Well, guess what? When it comes to being a complementary helper with a man wants a very intelligent woman. Of course, he wants a strong woman. But this education now that you're going to get at a liberal college and a liberal school to learn how to be a feminist is not being intelligent. So they probably don't want an educated woman. In fact, most divorcees and most women that initiate divorce are women with college degrees and with educations. Why? Because they learn how to be a feminist in their liberal school. They probably don't even like the man because they had to pick a man with very feminine traits to balance out their masculine ones. not having leadership qualities because it would be too competitive. Do you understand what I'm saying? So feminism has destroyed relationships. If you ask men and then you were to follow the protocol so that you can be in relationship with one, you would understand that you're looking less and less, you're pulling less and less away from feminism, because feminism isn't teaching you that. It bleeds into relationships. It bleeds into how what kind of partner you'll be to a man.
And once again, modern women follow trends. So it's just more the same, looking across the pond and feeling like the grass is greener on the other side for these modern women. Oh, I see the man doing this. It must be so much fun. Oh, I see her and him, couple goals. So they must be having a fantastic life. And then they start to doing a lot of this stuff. And then they realize it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And now you get the videos where women are turning around and saying, hey, I didn't know it was going to be all of this. I'm tired. I don't want to work anymore. And they're 25 years old. I'm sorry. For the average American, you got about 40 more years of this. You got about 40 more years of this. And you're already tired. But this is the type of stuff that they've done to themselves. And now they're looking for help.